Okay, so tonight's meeting's Jigs and Fixtures. If anybody has anything they want to show, if you've got a process that maybe you just want to talk about, feel free to come up and explain how you do something. That's fine also. You don't have to be visual. So
I'll show one.
there you go. Go for it.
This is not necessarily a jig or fixture, but it's a technique thing. So I noticed somebody else, when you brought in a piece that had a mortise in the bottom of it, so you put it on the thing and expand it out. I like those. You did that. I like to do those because I've got a laser, and so when I get it all done, I can just laser my name on a little piece of wood and drop it right in there, and it looks perfectly like it was made for it. So I know that there are some different dovetail chisels to do that, to make that in there. But I got to thinking about it, and I called up Ben and said, I've got an idea. Would you help me try this? And so we did. I took an old chisel, and can you see this, what we did here? So we cut a dovetail right here. Now most of them that have dovetails are flat across the top, so you have to like go, if you're doing it live centered, you have to go in above the live center and do that. I wanted one that you could go in from an angle and get right up to the point of the live center and then bring it back this way and put the dovetail in with this. And it works beautifully, if you can see that.
Cool.
So that was my idea, invention, and thanks to Ben for helping me grind it and make it work and get the angle just right, and I use it all the time. Yes, sir.
Hold it up there and turn it sideways so we can see the.
So there's that.
Up and down.
So it's just a standard skew chisel. I had an extra one. And so, and the thing is, you can still, we left all of what was here except for maybe a tiny bit on the end, so you can still use it as a skew chisel. And I do all the time, but when I want to do that inside, it's notched out. So that's my non-jig, non-fixture innovation.
So how did you guys grind it?
On a CBN wheel.
Okay.
Just we lined it. We took, he had a chisel that was a dovetail in it, so we took the dovetail of that and drew with the magic marker kind of on this what we thought it would be, and ground some on it, and we went and tested it a little bit and ground it a little bit more, and ended up making a perfect little dovetail in there. So grabs really good, and the part that I wanted to do, if you've got a live center that comes to a point, you can take this right, since it's an angle, you can take it right up to the point and maybe have, if you don't get all of it off, you've got just a tiny little toothpick size that you can just break off. And so, works good.
50 more of them.
There you go.
Works good.
So has anybody tried to drill on the lathe and have your drill hanging out and the thing starts walking? Well, this is what I use. It's a broken drill bit, and it's large enough diameter that it's strong, but I drilled a point on it, and it's like a center drill in machining, and you can just drill up a small starter hole, and then when your longer drill comes in, it's already got a center to go into. So that comes in real handy. Another thing is a parting tool. Sometimes you get down really close. This is an old kitchen knife that I got at a sale, and then I just cut a cutting edge on the point of it. It's already tapered, so you have the relief, and so it works really well. You would think it would kind of wobble, but it doesn't. You can take a real small cut, real thin part. So I use that a lot.
Is that stainless? Still cut steak?
Pardon me?
Well, still cut steak?
Cut steak?
Cut steak? I don't know. And then this is an important tool in my shop. It is the cover for my Dr. Pepper can so that I don't get chips in it.
Okay, classic. That's a good
Well, it's not a jig or a fixture, but went to the Rocky Mountain Wood Turning Symposium, and this was a new product I thought I'd
Over
share.
your left a little. There you go.
All right. And he made up Woodturners labels for it because it's the first time he tried to sell it, too. He had other sandpaper there, but... So it's double-sided sandpaper. It's got a little corrugated center. He claims it's waterproof. The reason I bought it is sometimes I like to fold over a piece of plastic and hold on to it this way when I've got a live edge or something coming around. Well, this I can do it with just this.
How thick is it?
Yay thick. And the kit has different shapes and some smaller. Now he did have blocks, sanding blocks that these would snap into that you could buy as well. So I haven't tried it enough to know if I like it, but I thought it was interesting enough I'd bring it and share it with you.
That's very cool.
Yes, this has what? Am I upside down or am I right side up?
Yeah, you're upside down.
Okay. 8120, 180, 220. For those of us that start at 600, I mean, you know.
Where you get it?
So this guy said he had this website, get-grip.net. Or he's got a phone number here. I can let you take a picture, put it in the newsletter, whatever, if you want. But yeah, like I say, I haven't tried it enough to know if I like it, but thought it was an interesting new product that somebody might be interested in.
I just have two real simple ones that, well, can't do it on this. This has a different fixture on it, but basically this is just two magnets with the holes to fit the screws on a 1640. I kept getting aggravated by the woodworm screw trying to get it on and off and no lock. So this will hold the button in for you. So it's just a very simple little block of wood. And this, if I can get them apart. Basically, if you have an old computer, you need to destroy your hard drive. You don't want to let it out of your sight. So when you get in there, it's got this huge magnet. And they conveniently even have screw holes. Well, if you put that up, it's great to hold chuck keys or occasional gouge or anything like that, because it's got, I mean, it's powerful. It's like really strong. And it'll pinch it. So I don't know that the laptops probably have a much smaller magnet. It may not be as effective, but if you've got an old desktop, don't throw it, you know, get in there and take these out. It's really easy.
Here's a couple jam chucks that are adjustable as much as this clamp will allow. I think I've used this on eggs, small eggs, and I've used this on one here on eggs and Christmas ornaments. And what I'm talking about is segmented Christmas ornaments. There are two halves, and you can put it right in there, clamp it down, and hollow the inside to get them. You want to get them light because you know you don't want them pulling down the branches of the tree too much. And here's an example of one that I made a couple years ago. Get it unhooked. Hung up here.
You can hang the sock up too, it's all right.
There we go.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, that's cool.
And here's a ring. There's 6 rings in the ornament I make, and you can put all kinds of woods that you want, and I glue them up in quarters, then glue them up in halves, and then always there's a little mismatch, and I'll glue the two, or sand the two halves together to make them fit, and then you stack them all up,
Did you tap the bottom of the jam chucks? Did you tap the bottom? How do the jam chucks go on?
Oh.
Did you, you shouldn't, okay.
use it in a chuck,
Okay.
Both of them are that way.
How did you cut the fingers so that they're nice and even and stuff?
Oh, I just took the bands off.
Okay.
Big thing is getting it to where you can get your clamp on and grip on whatever it is that you're wanting to grip on tight. I know I've enlarged this one a couple times, so it's a little loose here, you see on this, but it don't take much for the clamp movement to tighten down on it.
That's cool.
And you can have it in there either way, because like I start out with a block, and you want to get rid of all the remains of it here, before you get your finials on, so I use it both ways to hollow.
Did you leave those out so we can take a picture of them?
Sure. I'll set them back there.
That'd be great. That's a good idea.
And here's a jig that Jim Tate made several years ago for making scoops, and I copied it. I think I made 2 scoops. I spent more time on the jig than I did in making scoops, but I always thought I would make more. And it's got a nut built into the base there, it just threads right on my lathe. And get it opened up enough here. You can see the scoop. Getting there. I didn't think I tightened it up that much, but I did. Yeah, there's the scoop, and there's a pocket just cut in here, and then this is just the clamp to hold it down, and you sort of center it and get it to where you want. Of course, depends on how the centering here comes out, how it fits in the jig. And then I've got a couple items that I was wanting you guys' help with. I picked both of these up at different times at garage sales and never have found out exactly what to use them on. I thought this taper would be great for something like that. Well, it's too big. So I don't know what kind of taper that went into, but it's a neat little jig, it's got a little rubber pad here, and it'll rotate around, and then this little thing here has got a groove in it to where you put a 1/4-inch dowel or a bolt or something in, and it is spring loaded, and there's a couple times I've took it out and said, well, but I never did really find out what this thing is for.
How far does it open? Quite a ways?
Yeah, quite a little ways. And there's 2 little springs on those little dowels there.
I'm not sure it's big enough.
I mean,
Michael, is that just a hand vise?
well, it could be. That's what I've used it for a couple times, just to clamp something.
Garage sale item?
Oh yeah. I probably paid 50 cents for that one,
I
and
think the other one goes in a dollar, like in a table.
it may be.
Yeah.
It
You
might
said
be.
it swivels?
Yeah, it swivels here.
I bet it's a Carver's.
It might be.
It's a Carver's
Actually,
price.
what I think it is a piece of the photographic lighting equipment. They have a piece that taper on it, and then you would put that down in something, that would be attached to something, you'd run a rod or an umbrella or something out of it. If you go to eBay or somewhere and look for photo,
Yeah, I've
equipment,
got some similar to that, but not that big.
you might find something with that taper on it.
Yeah.
Or, if you had something that would take some material and turn it round and round, and then you go in, you probably could turn a taper that,
Yeah.
Did you try to taper on anything besides a number 2? Might be number 3 taper.
Might be. I don't have anything with number 3.
That's what it goes, yeah.
heard of them, but I've never.
Anyway, thanks for the ideas.
That's awesome. Cool.
Well, I was real interested in Ben's program last time where he was talking about carving, because I have done a lot of carving, or some carving, mostly collecting carving tools and carving equipment, but actual some cutting of wood. And if you've got something that's sticking out here and you can't do your carving hanging out of the lathe, sometimes it's helpful to find something that will let you hold it at different angles. And this thing here, I've got the chuck attached to a piece of thread that matches my headstock threads. And then this piece here, this gimbal setup, is a Wilton mini power arm. And they make large power arms that will hold a lot. And then there's several carving places, or turning places. I think the guy out in Colorado, Trent Bosch, sells something that will fit into your banjo and be threaded on the other end with so you can work on your whatever it is you're carving at different angles. So my headstock is 1/8, and I ran across a big piece of 1'8" threaded rod, and so this will fit. A piece of it's down here fits into my chuck. You could thread it into a face plate, get it down tight, and then put this in a vise and just clamp it down that way and move it around and be able to, whatever you had on your face plate, be able to work on it at different angles. So, and then on this one, to tighten it up, I had a big 1'8" nut, and it was really too big, and I needed 2 of them, so I cut it in half so I can tighten it down so that the chuck or the faceplate won't turn. So, and then it's just set up on this one with a little jig that would sit it on a table or workbench. You could clamp it, and you get it's pretty strong. So, anyway, that's what it is.
That's cool.
I think I've shown these before, but I thought with the new members we've got, then maybe you haven't seen them. Talking about cutting those cup chucks, the fingers on the cup chuck on the bandsaw. That's kind of what this is. That's just a V-block on a runner that goes in the slot on the bandsaw table. Mine has two slots, one horizontal, one vertical, and I've made this so that this clears the blade. Like this way, it goes on the side and you cut something round, or if you turn it this way and clamp it down in front of the blade, you can cut something lengthwise and without fear of twisting and breaking your blade and arm and whatever. When you're centering, you got a spindle, or you want to put it in a chuck or something, and you need to get it lined back up. A lot of people just use the tool handle, to kind of knock it in place. I don't like doing that to my tools, so I just turned a little small mallet. And for a mallet, you shouldn't use a hammer, if you're using something to drive the drive center into the wood. Shouldn't use a hammer, you round over the end of it. So I made a dead blow mallet. It's just got some birdshot in it. Okay, let's see. In pin turning, to assemble the pins, I just made a couple anvils, you know, number 2 Morse taper. You just go in the headstock, one in the tailstock, and use your quill, you know, as a clamp. And then I've got some double stick tape on here that's got worn out. I just put a rubber pad on it, you know, to protect the pin. And to make the Morse taper, that's a good skew project. So I've made a jig to measure that out. Here's the length of the taper. Well, the line here you probably can't see. But this is the diameter of the small end and the diameter of the big end. Or make a little box jig to gauge it as you're turning it, you know, and kind of slip this on it until it fits. And you can use the Morse taper for your drill bits. You put the drill bit in your headstock or your tailstock instead of, you know, wandering around with your hand.
Great idea.
And when you're dealing with the heads, the Morse taper in the headstock, sometimes it gets dirty. So, and they sell reamers, you know, to clean out your, but I just use a shotgun cleaning brush. It happens to be a 12 gauge for number 2. Just, you got the gunk out of it. Well, you can get those at Bass Pro. And if your little electric drill goes south, don't throw it away. Take the chuck off. It's a simple matter. Remember, it's a left-hand thread. Just pull that off and put it on a handle. And it's real handy for drilling small holes. Let's see, it's about, oh, and speaking about making threaded mortises, threaded holes to go on your headstock, they're like the be-all tap. Well, I made a handle. A lot of people just use a wrench. I find it awkward. I just put this handle on, put your tailstock up to keep it centered, and you can just twist it on. First one I made, well, this is one I made, I just used a chisel to make a square hole, but I finally learned use 3 different pieces of wood to make a square hole. Just glue it up, don't cut it. And for your design, to get them pleasingly proportioned, use the Fibonacci rule, the Fibonacci gauge. There were plans for, I made this one from plans in a Wood magazine article. So if you want to get your proportions, you know, you like your 3:5 ratio. That's basically what this is.
Yeah, that's cool.
Pardon?
That's neat.
Oh. All right, that's it. Have one more. Just a dowel that fits your chuck with a nail in the end of it, in the center of it, so that you can mark the center. You know, if you have something in a chuck and you want to mark the center so you can turn it back without being on the chuck, then just mark a hole. Or you can use it to line up so your chuck on like a faceplate or something.
Good stuff.